Okay, hello everyone, and today I'll be teaching you about transport glitch. So transport glitch is actually something it's a glitch that exists in Age of Mythology, and it makes so that you can move your unit without having to actually deplace the transport ship. So the unit that you will garrison into the transport will be moved to point A from point A to point B, so where you want to unload it, and without having to actually move the unit. So what you do is you surround the transport, like you see the blue hitbox here. You want to surround that hitbox with all the other hitbox from all your other boats. So here I use the power ancestor on the water, so I can have a lot of boats to block my transport. And you want to surround it. The more boats, the likelier it is you will get a transport glitch. So with this many boats, you can get it like 100% of the time. So you want to surround it, and then you load your unit in, and you make sure your transport cannot move anywhere. So you see, and then when you use your ungarrison key, the unit will be instantly moved across the map to where you want it to go. Okay. So now the next step is to actually be seeing in which cases the transport glitch can happen. So here I lost all my bots, so let me build some other ones. So here I'll be able to build a couple of other bots, assuming I get the resources. Okay, so now with fewer ships, you'll see it's quite harder to set up, because you have to make sure that this unit cannot move, and with fewer ships you have more chance of the unit sliding through the transport glitch. So here, if I can show you, it cannot slide through, but sometimes if the unit is smaller, like if it's a transport, it can slide through here or through here, but yeah, here it cannot. So now let's see where I can transport the unit. So if I want to transport the unit over here, for instance, like in here, it will be able to, because there's water here, but you cannot do it for everywhere. Like, let's see, for instance, if I want to transport it on land, because it goes through land from here to here, the unit will only go to the closest lane. And now if I want to transport it through here, okay, I failed. If I want to transport it through here, there is not enough room. So some places it's quite impossible to transport glitch, but here actually it's possible. So you have to make sure there's enough room. For instance, here those crocodiles are blocking it, so you cannot transport glitch over here. So another feature of transport glitch is actually, like, if I want to unload it here, you see the units moved here. It's because it draws a perpendicular line between the point where you want and the closest ground places, and so the game assumes that if the transport was to move from here to here, it would actually be shorter to move the unit here, so the transport glitch would actually land your unit here and not here. And then there are some transport glitches that are not possible to do. For instance, this one. Okay, if I can get a place where there's enough land. Okay, so here the unit the same. The shortest path from here to here is actually a straight line from here to here, so the unit will actually be landed here because the unit can go through land. But for instance, as soon as there's water, so for the same case as our mirror here, there's water between here and here, so the transport glitch will work. And that's something really important you have to take in mind. And so when speedrunning, you want to use lay of the land to see everywhere you can transport glitch to, and which one is actually the fastest when you want to do this, when you want to do the mission concern. So those are pretty easy transport glitch to set up. like you see here with 3 boats, you're able to set up the transport glitch without too many troubles. So it's okay. Like it's not hard to set up, like you just have to take your time and you'll get it. And you have to verify that your unit can't really move. So once you've done that, you can transport glitch basically anywhere. Okay. But the main thing to know about transport glitching is the fact that there are transport glitch that requires a lot more micro, because for instance there are sometimes places you have a really hard time getting stuck into, and so that's why my second example is here. So for those transport glitch, you have to not YOLO them. You have to not try and get the right places, and because you have too many ships to do it, but you have to actually have a pattern that you can use to actually be able to do the transport glitch consistently. So this one is pretty easy because you have a lot of boats, but this one, for instance, is pretty hard because you only have like 2 boats. And if I try to set it up like that, I'm just gonna do something like this, and you see my transport will just slide through. So you have to find out a way to make your transport glitch work. So the way I do it in this mission, it's like mission 19, watch that first step. So I click on the 3rd row, and then I click on the 2nd here, and then I click on the edge of the ship, and here my ship is blocked, and so I can transport glitch over here. So okay, my bad. Okay, so yeah, I failed a little bit when doing this glitch, but so basically if I just reload it, you'll see that I have a pattern that's gonna work like all the time, and you want to find a pattern that makes you able to do the glitch every time, so you're not dependent on having luck when you're streaming and when you're speedrunning the game. So this is an example for this mission that works all the time that I've tried it, at least. And you have to find find a way to do it yourself for the mission when you have a limited amount of boats or a limited amount of time to get boats, because the fewer boats you get, the shorter your time will be. So it's really important to consider that too. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to say about transport glitch today. And I hope you all learned that there are a few ways to make transport glitch. Like you can YOLO it with putting a lot of boats around your transport and actually preventing it from moving, but it doesn't like requires a lot of skills. It just requires you to be fast and putting a lot of boats around, and that's what I did with the ancestor power. Then you have transport glitches that are a little bit YOLO but not too much, where you have to set up like 3 or 4 boats around. And then you have transport glitch like when you want to tuck a unit into the boat, when you want to tuck the first boat in and then tuck another boat behind it. So it can be used like, for instance, if you have a dock on the edge of the map or something like that. And it can be really useful for a lot of missions where you have limited resources or you have limited time to get the resources, because there's another route that's faster if you take much more time. So this is basically what transport glitch is and how to use it. So thank you for listening, and I'll be maybe seeing you in the next tutorial video.